Is this a moment where they have to kind of consider all of their options, taking into account what we just discussed about all of the talent on the roster and how crucial this season is? Or do you think that they can roll with Zach Wilson because he's the backup quarterback? That's what he's there for.
Well, I mean, Zach Wilson's going to play in the short term, but you have to have other options. I mean, Zach Wilson's bad luck or a bad decision away from leading the game too. There's no Mike White. Mike White was a pretty nice backup to have. I thought he was a great signing by Miami, but obviously was the odd man out the way the Jets did things. So I do think they have to consider all the options on the table. And, we're joking about Phillip Rivers, but, there are people, Matt Ryan's out there. I don't know that anybody wants to see Matt Ryan, but I think you have to consider everything for your team and just your locker room and see maybe Zach Wilson is going to play better. But I think you definitely have to have other options. You need to look around and see who could possibly be available by trade. I'm just kind of scanning through, the backup quarterbacks in the league. There's not going to be a lot of people wanting to give up quarterbacks, and it's hard to train them up and get them into your system during the season.
Yeah, the short-term solutions none of them are good, and none of them are going to be good when you're put into this situation. Jameis Winston's name got mentioned a couple times online today as somebody who might be available. Maybe somebody like that is worth a call who's had starting experience. Zach Wilson, when starting and when playing, was arguably the worst starting quarterback in the league last year for long stretches of time. So
I was watching the Manning cast. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick on. I was like, I wonder if he's in shape.
Well, the best part about that, I wasn't watching. I watched the regular broadcast on Mondays, but I heard some of the things that the Mannings were saying about Zach Wilson and the fact that I think Peyton said he should throw the ball 3 more times over the course of the entire game. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick was making some pretty critical comments about Zach Wilson's decision-making. When Ryan Fitzpatrick is being critical of some of your decision-making and the recklessness that you're playing with, you probably need to rein it in a little bit.
I think at a certain point, Ryan actually stood up for him finally in the end, a little bit, but yeah, it was tough. It's tough in the decision-making. Tough. I think Zach Wilson was in a tough spot today, though, too. I mean,
absolutely.
You talk about reps. I mean, he's been such an afterthought, right? I mean, he's not ready at all for this.
So let's talk about the reality here with the Jets after losing Aaron Rodgers. I think there are a couple different levels of this and layers of this to consider. One, even if tonight is exciting, even if I do think they're going to be a competitive team, the goal this year was to compete for and potentially win a Super Bowl. That's going to be really, really hard, if not impossible, with whoever they bring in to play quarterback. Even if your defense is going to be excellent, even if you have all of that young talent at some of your skill positions, I still think that's going to be an incredibly tough road in this AFC. And that fall back to reality that a lot of Jets fans are probably going to experience as the high of tonight wears off here over the next 48 to 72 hours. That's going to be a tough one because I do think it's a reality worth facing.
Oh, yeah, completely. Their best hopes, their best chance, their only chance. I was just thinking of if you were a fan, what if you just, ponied up and just bought the tickets or, you had to buy the licenses now, or there's people who bought suites. I mean, did you see the picture that was going around of the guy flipping off the camera? Did you see that? It's a great shot of
How does that guy feel right now, though? I'm sure that guy feels great.
Hey, he got the win, but I mean, I don't know if it was his son or the younger guy next to him just had this look like he was lost. And I thought that's what sports can do to us. It's just really the highs and the absolute lows. And I was actually thinking early in the game, like, think of this: the Giants lost 40-0 at home, and they had the best weekend at the Met of any of the two teams. Even though they lost. Fan,
I can't even comprehend how you're feeling right now. You have this entire offseason of hope. You have every reason to believe that you've kind of snapped out of this decades-long slumber at quarterback, where you finally have a guy that you can feel good about, confident about, that can raise the level of everyone else around him, the guy that gives you a chance every single week, no matter what else is going on. And I have a lot of sympathy for that and a lot of empathy for that because it is a life that I have lived for the 36 years that I've been on this planet.
Hey, Robert, what would you pay for 4 plays of Aaron Rodgers?
I can't even tell you. It's so tough to love a team and to grow up with a team and be invested in a team and never have that feeling, to go into every single week knowing that you're probably at best at a draw at the most important position in sports. And that's what Jets fans have been having to deal with. You know, the Jets, the Browns, the Bears, I think are right in the same discussion, same kind of conversation in terms of quarterback quality over the last couple decades. And to think that you've escaped that, even if it's for a single season with the talent on this roster, had to be so intoxicating as a Jets fan this offseason. And then it's taken away from you 4 plays into the opener on national television. I just truly can't comprehend what that had to be like for some of those guys tonight.
No, I know. That's why, that's why for the Jets themselves, I give them credit for winning the game. I think it was a great win for them, but it is tough. I'm just scanning, Robert. I'm looking at like who's even third on depth charts on teams. You know, it's like, seriously, it's like Case Keenum's and Mason Rudolph's.
I honestly think Andy Dalton would be worth a call. Honestly, after the way he played last year and what he is for that Panthers team right now, he's a valuable backup and I'm sure a valuable voice for Bryce Young and what that season's going to look like for Bryce Young. But I'd at least pick up the phone if I were the Jets based on the way that he played last year. I think that he would give you a fighting chance based on how he played last season. But again, it's not an
Frank Reich's not going to want to give up, the backup.
He's not
young guy,
He's not. Because that guy has a lot of value.